And that's where the real meat and potatoes is at, right? Not just seeing what they did on the fields. I loved that analogy. And I think for me, and maybe for some other people, I think that's the point I'm at where in my life right now, where it's all right, cool. Highlights ain't gonna get me there. It's time for us to dig in and figure out what was the real work that Jesus did on this planet, that God is doing in our lives, and how can we apply that to unlock our full potential. That's where I'm at.
Good Lord, gotta let that breathe.
Amen.
I'm telling y'all, like, where's that? Listen, I need some Ric Flair gifs from a brother, Glenn. I'm telling you, GA, I saw you blinking, brother. Go for it.
No, I'd like to be next in line. After GA, I'd love to go. I didn't hear y'all say open the floor yet, so sorry about that. After GA.
I wanted to give you a Ric Flair woo since you didn't give it to me yet. But Glenn just, oh my gosh, I keep hearing him saying in his Al Pacino voice from Any Given Sunday, the inches that we need are in every break of the game, in every inch of the game. And look at the man beside. That's what I'm hearing Glenn tell me in that Al Pacino halftime voice. In Any Given Sunday, it's in every break. And then he came in on the back end and he gave us a little blend of that Hosea and Gomer story. When you think you finish and when you think you done, go back and get her again. You think you finished with that client, go back and get them again. They did you wrong. Yeah, they didn't put an invoice on that. Go back and get them again. But they with somebody else. They not going over. They with our competition. Go back and get them again. Go back and get them again. Man, he all up in my Kool-Aid, walking down my pew, in my street, in my envelopes, reading my mail. Man, this is good stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you. Ramon, go for it, brother. And then Mary Lynn, over to you after Ramon.
Hey, thank you. So I just want to say, hey, Glenn, and hey, TM and Hell, thank you for the session. I think for me, I recall when Glenn talked to us about getting his private jet, somebody in BWC who's making, maybe about 100,000 or so, and this individual was with us, and they said, "Oh, I want to get a jet too." And I was like, you have no clue what it takes to have a private jet. But they were so excited about Glenn's story, and wanting to live that life, as it were. So I think, as Glenn said, it's not for the weak entrepreneurship, but also to you've really been in it. A lot of us talk about entrepreneur, we're all millionaire mindset and all this, but most people are not that. And so I think it's so important to talk about the reality. Hence me, people think I'm joking, and I know TM knows I'm not, but when I'm like, oh, it was a slow week, it was a slow year, post-COVID, or I have people saying, are you okay? And I'm like, no, it's tough. Really? So I think, yes, we love entrepreneurship. There's the opportunity for high success, but the only thing you see on the headline, Jeff Bezos. Only thing you see on the headline is Mark Zuckerberg. You don't see the basic entrepreneurs making 500 to 4 million a year, and what it takes to get that. So I think I'm glad that Glenn opened that today, because many of us hear his story, his voice, and his inspiration. He does, but the back end of it, unless you've run a business and are in entrepreneurship, you don't know. And last thing I'll say, and there is no shame, it's a blessing to have a job, as Mary Lynn does. A good job, that's a blessing. I've been very tempted to apply. I did apply once for a job, and they rejected me and said no, and I was so depressed because I wanted a backup. But you have a job, be an entrepreneur, whatever you need to do to provide for your family and more. So blessings. Back to you, Tim. Back to you, Al.
Man, I love that. That was a bar and a mouthful right there, Ramon. But it's absolutely true. It is so true. I love what you and GA just, reflected upon. And I think it's just so in alignment with what me and TM have been talking about, this morning. So, man, that investment of time got me.
I'd like to ask Glenn a question that's in alignment with what Ramon and GA just stated, because I think that this is I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary Lynn.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, so I do have to get going, but I want to add something. the part that I reflected with. So sorry, there's no hand raising, and Health had said I could go ahead and jump in after Ramon. So I'm going to take that opportunity. Good morning, Glenn. Glad to hear your voice, Ramon. I do get to use my creativity at my job, so I'm proud of that. Like you said, it's no shame in my game. I tell you, I love this position. But what I just wanted to share with people before I do have to get in the shower so I can be on time is that the no shame in my game right now. There was a time where I would have shame by resting on the weekends. If there was some laundry to be done, if there was some dishes to be done, if there was some, grass to be, whatever the household chore was, let's say, I didn't feel like I could go out and enjoy myself if that wasn't done, because I knew I hadn't done the work throughout the week. And I was blaming the dishes, or let's say the laundry or the grass. Oh, I can't go out. I've got things to do around here. But it was really because I knew I hadn't put in a dedicated, full, hard week of work. Now, I've just moved into this space. I wanted to go explore Tarpon Springs. That's relaxing for me. I was like, it's okay. I'm not fully unpacked yet. I did all I can do. I squeezed out all the minutes, all the moment, all the juice of the time of the week. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to have this hamburger and I'm going to enjoy it. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch some TV and I'm going to relax. And I felt good. So back to you guys, TM. Now you had a question. Thanks for letting me jump in. Over to you guys.
Go ahead, Health. You can get to.
No, I was just gonna say, woo! Listen, I love it. It just really underlined it what I had underlined. Look at me, see my country. I'm getting happy, y'all, because like Glenn just had so much. Like I'm chomping at the bit. But that invest the time, TM. It really helped me to change my language about spending time versus investing the time, and that's what Mary Lynn is really truly bringing home. He's listen. There's earned rest. You can invest time in your rest, and I think people don't realize how much healing is involved in rest. Rest. God gave us rest for a reason. Over to you, TM.
No, let's open it up to the floor.
All right, y'all.
You had a question for me, TM?
Yes, go for it. I just want to say, and on the seventh day he rested. That's all.
That part. TM, ask your question and then we can open the floor.
Glenn, what I think what was most important about what you shared about the Valley piece, the selling of the plane, the selling of the dealership, those were major purchases that I'm sure came with a lot of excitement, pride, and momentum. What was the mindset? How did you navigate the mindset that many of us struggle with letting things go? We go into debt, we go bankrupt because we try to keep up an image and we struggle letting it go. Can you talk us through the crossroad, right? Of okay, it's time to let this go. The plane and the dealership. And then you still rise like the phoenix that you are. Can you help us there? Because many are in situations right now where we need to let some stuff go, Glenn, but we're holding on even when it's not serving us or helping us.
Yeah, man. So the jet, lots of lessons from the jet. We bought an older jet. I had never missed, and this will hurt Ramon's heart right here just saying this, but like I have never missed a speaking event in my life until I got a jet. I missed 3 speaking events over a period of 12 months once we had the jet, because we bought an older jet, a little more affordable jet, and it wasn't as reliable. And so the whole point of having a jet is that you save time. And so you push things to, like, instead of flying out the night before, staying in a hotel room, and so on and so forth, you fly out that morning, you go to the speaking event, and then you fly home. Like, that's the whole point, is you're buying time. But the downside of that is if there's a maintenance issue, if the plane doesn't, it's not able to fly, so on and so forth, you don't have enough time for a backup plan. You don't have enough time to go switch over to commercial. You don't just have a fleet of planes that can be exchanged, right? So I started missing events. I started becoming less reliable, and there was just some negative effects. So yeah, it was cool having a jet, and I loved it when it worked, and so on and so forth. But what I realized is, just like buying an old cheap car, you know, it comes with its downsides. So we're gonna gear up. We're gonna build up. We're gonna get bigger. We're gonna get stronger. We're gonna get in a more good position where we can afford. I'll be out there in a second. Where we can afford, the real deal. And so it's like, get rid of the jet for now. And a time will come. And then there's some markers that we've hit, some targets that we have to hit in order to be able to do that. As far as the dealership side, it wasn't bringing me joy. The was not what I thought it was going to be. There was a level of stress I didn't want in my life. My wife and I were, we don't ever argue, but we weren't as kind to one another as we normally are. All of these things, there was just a bunch of negative outputs. Okay, give me just a minute. The bus is just now pulling up. I'll get it. But just a bunch of negative outputs, right? And so once I started to recognize that, I went and got advice from mentors in my life. I called Grant Cardone and said, "Hey, Grant, here's the situation. What do you think?" And here's the situation. What do you think I should do? And Grant said something really powerful, because I was only 5-6 months into my partnership, and it was crazy, man. And so I told Grant, and Grant said, "Glenn, if the honeymoon sucks, the marriage is gonna be miserable. You need to go on and cut off the arm to save the body." Those were his exact words. If the honeymoon sucks, the marriage is going to be miserable. Cut off the arm and save the body. And one thing I've learned in my 47 years of existence is, if you are going to have mentors that are willing to invest and pour into you, you better be willing to take action. As soon as he told me that was his advice, I immediately sent out the message to my partners saying, "Hey, why don't you guys go on and buy me out? And you can operate this however you want to operate this." And they did. They bought me out. So, TM, it's a combination of, is this activity, item, investment, is it serving you and serving you well? And if it's not, you need to get rid of it. And then the other side is that you need to really have powerful people in your corner that you trust, that are willing to tell you the truth, and you need to take actions on those advice. So that's the two ways that I get through it. I look at everything and say, is this ultimately really serving our overall purpose and goal? And then I have amazing advisors around me that I am willing to listen to, whether I agree with or don't agree with, whether I like it or I don't. You feel me?
Absolutely do, man. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being back.
Exactly. Hey, I second that. Tori, over to you.
Wow. Good morning, everybody. This is so heavy and good to me. The thing I just heard from Glenn, though, right then, is faith without works is dead, number one. But I just want to speak to everything that's been said, from entrepreneurship not being for the weak, the action that needs to be taken, all the things. The one thing that it made me think about is how in Genesis, how it explains God's creation. And he had a day to do everything that he did. But no matter if we are entrepreneurs who make 400 million or entrepreneurs who have not even made 100,000 Yet in our journey, we know the work it takes. We work the hours that most people aren't willing to work. We have several hustles. We're always doing all the things, but God created an example for all of us, no matter where we are. He took rest on the seventh day, and he was replenished by doing so and able to keep going. And so that's what I've heard without hearing it from almost everything that's been said. But it's also our example to me of how we're to live and go on for another day, because as it's been stated, entrepreneurship is not for the weak. So when we really get in that mindset and are able to start observing that day of rest, by God's example, we realize that we can do more, we're replenished, and then we're not even dependent so much on our own efforts, because I think sometimes we get lost in thinking that our actions and efforts is really what pays us, but God is who pays us, and the increase always comes from Him. So many good takeaways, but that's what I got.
Ooh, wee. Listen, Tim, like when Glenn started off this with the power of words, and like Tori just said, it really has really, encapsulated everything that we started off talking about. Blind spots, the power of mentorship, and just those gaps, those blocks that we can have in our mindset. And look at that, Glenn just said, like, he literally placed a call. See, I think I just don't want it to get lost on anyone. Like, people think you can do this by yourself, and you absolutely can't. My dad used to always say, listen, two are better than one, and that there's just such a wisdom and power. And when you are able to seek out some wise counsel and stop trying to go it alone, listen, you got to invest the time in other people. So TM, I wanted to take it back to you. I'm sorry, is Maria still here? I think she had her hand.
And I see Bella flag.
Okay, sorry. Bella, over to you, and then TM, you can pick up.
Thank you for seeing me on the stage. I've been dying to speak. Seeing PWC. That's the class. This is a Grandmaster class, and my take, you know exactly how I feel about things, Health Wells, if you don't mind, while I'm on this mic. One, in terms of entrepreneurs, I'm speaking to the business owners. I never tell anybody or recommend to him, quit your job. Because I am a serialpreneur, corporate 9 to 5, which happens to be working for the city of Atlanta's best man, 61st man, shout out Mayor Andre Dickens, while building my business. And Glenn, I applaud you because you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's hard out here in this world. And what I also heard was y'all need to be careful when you grow and scale your business. Know when to grow, know when to scale, but above all, mentorships is my third takeaway. Health, what be really cool mentors. Shout out Ambassador Andrew Young, 93 years young. Shout out to Zernona Clayton, will be 95 years young next month. And y'all, they did really work in March with Dr. Martin Luther King. What am I saying? If you got a mentor, listen to them. Because I find a lot of people don't listen to what's at their feet. So Glenn Lundy, love me some Glenn Lundy. Hey Glenn, if you're still on the stage, is Jessica still holding you? Because I got to bring you on my show. Love it, love it, love it. Grow and scale. Listen to your mentors. Listen to the people that did it. And don't think you can do it all, because you can't. Thank you, Health Wells, for letting me back to you.
Woo! TM, over to you, brother.
Wow, where do we go from here? This is really good. What did you ask a question? Health before Bella spoke, because my mind is all over the place.
Right.
Process in the comments.
Right. Like this, but this has been, I think that it really ties, it all in, because I was going to ask you, before you leave, make sure I wanted you to be able to leave us with one or two, practical tips to bring this thing on home of setting ourselves, free, if we're the ones that are the jailer, if we're the ones, with the blind spot, and we're the ones that, can't see something as we, can't see it all. We can't see it all. So I just wanted to make sure that we had enough space for that. And if anyone had, a question or anything, feedback or something else they wanted to add before you bring this thing on hold.
So what's top of mind, just based on everything that I've heard, and from our conversation this morning, right? Blind spots. That's the overarching word, bringing it all together. I think Glenn spoke to his own blind spots and the strategy, right? The practical steps that you take when you don't know what direction to go in. I love Tori's comment in reference to, you can make $400 million, or you can be struggling to make $40,000, right? But it still comes down to decisions. And we hear often that success loves speed. Success loves speed. We are indecisive. We stay too long and we hold on to things too long. And so, inviting diverse feedback. We've got to get out of our own heads, and we've got to listen to wisdom. But we've got to listen to wisdom who has been there, done that, right? There are times, right, that I have no problem picking up the phone, calling Glenn. And if he's available, he'll pick up. If he's not available, he'll call me back. Ramon Ray, the same way. Scott Simons, the same way. Listen, if I don't know, if I have a question, I'm going to pick up the phone and call somebody. A lot of times, we don't want to ask for help. We don't want feedback because we don't want to hear something opposite of what we want to do.
Come on, TM. Well, and on top of that,
diverse feedback. We need people to help us who can see a clearer path with no emotional attachment. And so that's the one piece that I will offer up is seek your feedback from trusted people who are not going to tell you what you want to hear, but they're going to guide you and give you advice based on what you need to hear. And then you need to reflect on it, because they can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. I don't even want to do it for you. I need you to reflect on what's best for you after you've received the feedback and apply it in a very structured manner. We heard Glenn reflect.
Glenn was trying to pop in.
But he reflected. Yes, there's a lot of people who want to tap in. So I'm going to yield so y'all can get in.
No, Glenn was trying to tap in on you with what you have just brought up.
But I didn't know that was Glenn's voice.
Yeah, Tim, I was just going to say on that note, like, you'll get the call back because I know you'll take action, right? Like, I have a friend, a very, 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 very dear friend in my life, and I love him to death. He's been a friend of mine for decades on decades. And he'll call and come and tell me about a problem or ask a question about a situation, and I'll give him advice. And then he don't take no action, bro. Like, none. And then every time I talk to him, he's talking about the same crap, the same, he's in the same place. He's getting the same result. Nothing ever changes to where now when he calls, I don't call him back. Like, I might call him back, a month later just to talk to him about something else. But when he sends over, hey, I need advice about this, or hey, like, I don't want to talk to him, bro, because I don't want to invest the time if he's not going to take any responsibility and take any action on any of the advice. So that was the only other piece I was going to say is the reason TM can hit me and get a hit back is I know you're going to do something about it, and you all need to be that way. So a lot of us, we will listen. We're great listeners. We nod our heads, but dude, you gotta execute on that stuff.
I'm not going to take action. You all, Shawnte asked one of my 5 words that I cared about. I shared action-oriented. Action-oriented. I don't have time to play around specifically with leaders, entrepreneurs, business owners who aren't committed to their own vision and they aren't committed to take action. People talk and talk and talk and talk. They talk. No, They talk about what they don't know. They talk about what other people know. And all we do is talk. We need more action. And when you talk and don't take action, you just heard it directly from my favorite mentor. We have a hard time calling you back. We have a hard time wanting to keep talking to you with your talking self. This with Champions Demeanor Breakfast Club. We need you to take more action. Back to you, Shawnte.
Hey, TM.
Please.
Thank you. I just want to say two things. I think about also investing. You know, Glenn making certain investments and shifting and pivoting. All the time, you don't know what will work out or what won't. I remember back in the day when I invested thousands and thousands of my own money into BWC to build a media company. It didn't work out. I don't regret it. I kind of do, but I don't regret it. I wouldn't have known what worked. Today's a new season. So I think all the time you don't know what works out or what doesn't work out. And I think that part's important. So don't be afraid, everybody, to invest, even a small amount, to seeing what can work, what won't happen, what should I do, what shouldn't I do. Things fail, things don't work out, things don't happen. I think that's important. And the second thing about action, I think that is so important that everybody's in a different state of the journey. So if I'm trying to learn how to run or something like this, and somebody says, Ramon, do this, and if I'm not in a season ready to receive it, it's gonna be hard to do it. So that aspect of listening to it, I think, is so important. And that's why people will get calls back from people, because they know they can take action and move on and do it. And that's where mentorship and leadership and learning from others is so important. Back to you, Shawnte. Thank you, TM and Shawnte, for a great segment.
Woo!
Thank you, Shawnte. Thank you for the invite. This has been amazing. The timing was great, and the shares have been outstanding. Happy Monday, everybody.
No, seriously, TM, and you brought this up yesterday. This is one of the important reasons why, because of that action, and I need my students to see. And people often ask me, like, why are you still teaching? I'm teaching within my profession because I'm actually trying to shorten that learning curve for those that are going to go into my specific field. But I know that if they're in that environment where Grant Cardone is, like if they're there, TM, and just to get that early exposure. Listen, I notice a difference in their action, Glenn, when they come back after we take that trip, after they spend that time with Grant Cardone and his team and get to see the headquarters and how all these different departments and all these people, Ramon, are moving and shaking at such a young age. How much action do you think they're willing to take when they get back? A lot. It's that early exposure, TM. And this is why, I don't stop, with what I'm doing, because I understand that impact. And if you are around and you get to see action takers at a high level, man, it could really, truly turn things around and you can see what's possible. So Glenn, I'm glad that you brought up that call that you made to Grant Cardone. And I'm grateful that he's just so open and honest with kids. Like he really truly talks to them for real, TM. So I just really wanted to share that. And thank you so much. Coach Kelly has given us a few minutes. Listen, I let them know before they board the bus. Listen, if you sensitive, hey, it's gonna be some colorful language. If you think mine is colorful, listen, you stay your behind right here at the school. How about that? Go to your other classes, because you won't be going to Miami with me.
It could be Gary Vaynerchuk, so let's
well,
be happy.
Oh, Grant let it fly. He keep it a buck. But here's the thing: they know they be cussing in the hallways too. So, but no, like I just love that, and they were shocked. Every year they're shocked. The ones that because I take those that are new to my program, I take them in, and they're shocked at that. They've never heard anyone speak with such candor, and he tells them about how he messed up. And people used to tell me, TM, don't take them knuckleheads. Don't take them. You ain't worried about. I said, first of all, I ain't worried about them. They going up into MIA. They need to be worried about me and my peoples. I said, but second of all, that's who Grant wants.
You take them where, Shawnte? Claire, give me some more context. I missed that. You take your kids once a year to the 10X conference. What do you do?
No. Grant actually opens it actually started on BWC stage during Susie's segment one year. So he invited me to bring the kids to his offices. And so gives them a tour, like he really truly just, takes out all the bells and whistles. And so, you guys have helped me with getting a bus for it. Yeah. Yeah, like he really truly pours into them. And so I just took them this past year. I said, I ain't taking y'all back no more. Y'all aggravated me this year. I'm joking. But it really truly is a life changer. I can't tell you over the summer, this is my in-between time. This is the valley moments where it's slow. But I get a chance to look at all the messages and the feedback and parents and other people reaching out and saying like how different their kid has been since that encounter with Grant. Like he's for real about this. He really no charge. No charge to the kids. He ain't looking for nothing from them. Like it's a straight up give. And just that energy, that environment, y'all, like it matters to him. It matters, Ramon. And I'm so grateful for this community because guess what? My kids get to benefit from something that was started here. This motivation, inspiration, and education. This ain't no joke. Like we not playing about this. This is for real. And we're really truly reaching beyond just this clubhouse room. This is impacting the lives of young people all across this country. Christina Howard, myself, others included have come on the stage, Ramon, and testified of how Grant has actually impacted, their kids and different programs and things like that. But that information, that Action Jackson, Tim, over to you.
And then let me
Oh, Glenn, go for it.
Real fast. I want to make sure that everyone knows the very first drop, right? The very first drop in the pond that creates the ripple. So back in time, we're going way back in time. Clubhouse is new. Clubhouse is popping. Somebody invites me to Clubhouse. I pop in. I'm on Clubhouse for like 36 straight hours that first time I logged in. Just like, what is this? What is happening? There are people talking. There's all these rooms. That was on a Friday, Saturday. I was doing my daily morning show, and I'm like, how do I take Rise and Grind, bring it into the Clubhouse? Okay, I'll just start, I'll just do the show that I'm already doing, something I'm already doing, and I'll just expand it to a new platform. So Sunday, I emailed Scott Simons. Sunday, I emailed Liza Borges. Sunday, I emailed Grant Cardone. Sunday, I emailed all these people in my network. And I said, hey, there's this platform, Clubhouse. I'm going to do my daily morning show over there. I'm going to start at 5 a.m. on that channel, and then we'll go into the show at 5:30. If you are available, if possible, I would love for you to join me. I opened my first room that Monday morning at 5 a.m., and the very first person to come into the room was Grant Cardone. He was the very first person to come to the room. And then when he popped into the room, obviously the way Clubhouse used to work, all of his followers got notified and they popped into the room, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward, this whole Breakfast with Champions movement, was sparked. And obviously it grew and it evolved with help and care and nurturing from Ramon and Mary Lynn and, Christina and all the people, TM, that poured into this space, so on and so forth over the years. But I just wanted everyone to know, like, it started with, A, here's an idea. B, is there anyone who would be willing to help? I just shot an email out to everyone. Is there anyone who would be willing to help? And then fast forward, now you got kids going on tours at 10X offices with health guidance, right? They're going to 10X. They're getting exposed to things they wouldn't get exposed to any other way, getting poured into, which transforms their lives forever. You cannot be in that environment and not be transformed forever. But it all started with just something as simple as an email going out to a list and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you be willing to help? That simple. This is what I'm doing. Would you be willing to help? It's just incredible, man.
Thank you so much, Glenn, for that. What a perfect way to close out. Coach Kelly, we are so sorry. We've encroached into your time, but thank you guys so much. Thank you, champions. And yes, motivation, inspiration, education. Thank you, TM, for being my special guest this morning. And thank you so much, all of you, for your input. Thank you, Glenn, for this environment. Thank you, Mary Lynn, for me following you into this environment. Mary Lynn is the reason I'm in Breakfast with Champions. I followed her. And I'm so grateful because now my students get to do the same. So, Coach Kelly, over to you. Thank you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. welcome to Monday. Natasha, if you want to take your minute to do your motivational minute, I would love to give you space to do that, and then we can jump into my segment. It is up to you, Madame.
Good morning, everyone. It was so good to hear Glenn come back with that powerful message. Way powerful, awesome. Well, it's Monday. A fresh start, a new challenge, and another chance to become more. But here's the truth. You becoming a better, bigger, more successful person each time you meet and overcome an obstacle. Every time life pushes you, you push back harder. Every time fear whispers, you speak louder. Every time you're tested, you rise. Obstacles aren't just in your way, they're shaping your way. They're building your mindset, sharpening your focus, and unlocking levels in you that comfort never could. So don't run from the challenges this week. Run towards it. Because from every step to resistance, you're becoming exactly who you were. Let Monday be your momentum. Let obstacles be your fuel. And you guys have a great week.
That was perfect. Thank you. Thanks for the woo, Trisha. So thank you, Natasha, for your motivational minute. We always love hearing those, adding a lot of energy to every Monday, getting the week started right. Thank you, Health and TM, for your segment this morning. I was like, I messaged Health in the back saying, listen, if y'all need the whole extra half an hour, go ahead and take it, because the conversation has just been flowing really well. It's been a great morning, full of great energy. So I didn't want to flow